Trina Potter, and I am a holistic life coach and wellness advocate with doTERRA. Prior to that, I was a speech language pathologist with a specialty in feeding. And my intention for today's video is to share with you some ideas that can reduce mealtime struggle and also help your child to have a healthier relationship with food and increase their health in general. So before sharing some ideas around mealtime, I know if your parenting journey is anything like mine, there are days when I think my children eat really, really healthy, and then there are other days that doesn't necessarily happen. So one thing that I like to do is create a foundation around health for my kids, and I do that through vitamins. And one of the things when I first was introduced to things in the wellness realm that I didn't realize was oftentimes the vitamins that we can get for our children over the counter are full of synthetics. And so when their body tries to process it, because there's chemicals, they can't fully absorb that. So it's really important to have a whole food supplement. And for me as a parent, one of the things that I love with doTERRA's vitamins is that I know that they're high quality. So for my kids, I give them, it's called A to Z. It's a chewable vitamin. It's a multivitamin whole food without the synthetic chemicals. I give that to them daily. I also give them IQ Mega, which is an omega sourced from doTERRA. And what I love about that is for our children's brain development, omegas are really important. We often get omega-6s in our diet, which comes from different oils that are in the foods. But what is really key for brain development is omega-3, and we don't typically have that same balance. And so what I love about IQ Mega is it provides my children with the omega sources for their brain development, and it's in an orange flavor, so I add it in with juice, or sometimes they'll just take it off of the spoon. And then the third thing that I give them is called PB Assist Junior, and that's a probiotic from doTERRA, and it comes in a pixie stick form, so they both eat it right from the sachet. And the benefit of a probiotic is it's supporting their gut health. And we know that gut health, it has a whole wide range of things that it impacts in the body. One of them being our immune system. So those three things are things that I do just as like the foundation for health for my kid. And I love that for me, it alleviates some of the pressure that they have to get all of the nutrients from their food. I know that they're getting that foundation, and so I can trust in that. When it comes to feeding, a couple of things that I love to debunk and just bring awareness to. We are taught don't play with your food, and we typically have this pressure on us that our kids have to eat their plate, or we have all of these things that we've learned that our kids have to do. And if we look at feeding development, manners is really the last thing that develops. If you were to close your eyes and I was to put some food in your mouth, you don't have any idea of what those experiences inside of your mouth is going to be like. And that's the same for kids. So if we can enter the mealtime with an understanding that it's overwhelming from a sensory standpoint, meaning all of the input that comes into your mouth, from a kid's perspective, steamed broccoli is different than cooked broccoli, boiled broccoli, broiled broccoli, raw broccoli, all of that is different. It's like a different food every single time. And so for kids, really encouraging them to play with food is a way for them to understand what the sensory characteristics associated with the food are. It offers great conversation at your dinner time table. So in our house, if my daughter is resisting a food, we'll talk about the characteristics of the food, and it alleviates some of that heightened anxiousness around what that food might feel like in her mouth. So it might be like, oh, do you think that's a soft food or a quiet food? Do you think, what colors are you seeing? Do you think it's going to be loud? Let's listen. And we really make it about the attributes. And what's so cool is oftentimes when we're not making it the pressure be to eat your food, take a bite, do that, and we're talking about the attributes, she's excited to learn and explore it, and then the byproduct is she often eats. So one thing that I would encourage you is to take the pressure off of yourself, that it has to be about the bite, it has to be about cleaning their plate, whatever that the case may be, that you find yourself in that pattern. Give yourself some grace and just make the experience about, okay, let's just explore the food. Let's talk about the characteristics. Let's talk about the attributes. And in feeding development, we first have to be able to tolerate a food on our fingers before we can tolerate it anywhere near our mouth. So just touching it, smelling it, all of that is a win. It's a great thing for our children to be able to do. So that's just one thing that I wanted to share for the purposes of this group. And if you're finding that you're really struggling around mealtime, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to share more resources. But that's all for today. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy the group.